Hi there, and welcome to the Online Super Trader Education weekly market update and trade of the week. So let's go through here the Dow Jones based on the monthly chart. Quite a few support and resistance lines right here. However, the major one that we need to concentrate here is the 78.6 Fibonacci retracement at 12,544. The high of this month actually created new high levels pretty much of the year, 12,506. So the odds and probability to go through beyond that is more than likely to happen. But I believe that the 13,000 level is the next level of the major target point right here. Now we have higher highs, higher lows. We're going to see some form of stabilization that is going to equalize the market pretty soon, and a new retracement that's about to happen. Part of the correction is about to also more than likely to occur in the next few months, and more than likely to happen. If so, approximately see this primary uptrend to the upside back to the 12,000, even below that, probably 11,700 is more than likely to happen. So are you being wary about the correction as well that's about to happen? So every action there is an equal and opposite reaction before continuation to the upside is going to happen. But major target point after breakout on the 12.5 is about the 13,000 area. Alright, let's have a look at the weekly chart. Alright, here's the weekly chart. Higher highs, lower low, correction, continuation, stabilization. Week hasn't finished as yet. Equalize itself as in probability since buyers took over to head back to the upside is more than likely since we have new higher highs, but we have a primary, secondary, part of secondary. If it decides and chooses to drop, then back to 12,300. At the same time, Bernanke is going to talk by Wednesday, New York time, but 2 p.m. New York time. So it'll be interesting if he's going to raise interest rates or going to remain the same. Right, let's have a look at the daily chart. Okay, daily chart, we have lower low. What is the low of that one? 12,446, lower than 12,447, a 1 point difference. 12,506, right there. So it'll be interesting what the market will bring, but after part of this indecision, odds and probability, since a nice strength to the upside that this will head back to the downside, it's more than likely where will be the next retracement move. Then we can determine from there. Let's go through and put our fib from top to bottom. So that 38.2, we can see here approximately the 12,350 area. That if it chooses to head back to the downside, then that's pretty much where it will lead to. Good strong demand level, equilibrium, almost an equilibrium from top to bottom as well. Right, is it for the Dow? Let's have a look at the S&P, then we're going to look at the VIX and the currency pairs. Okay, we can see through here 1450 is the peak pretty much in about 2008, and that is a good major target after obviously the next one about the 1400 area, and it's not as strong as the Dow. With the S&P we have higher highs, higher lows, 2 weeks or actually 2 months of indecision at the moment. This is still the high. The month hasn't finished yet, so it'll be interesting if we create a new high. If it's so, then we'll see more strength of the S&P as well to the upside. But if not, then we're going to see some form of retracement as well, with the S&P heading back around the 1300, even the 1270 area, which is also a good strong demand level around this point. Alrighty, let's go through the weekly chart. Right, weekly chart shows some form of stabilization back to the supply zone, 1340, 1330, around this point, midpoint in time. Didn't form a new high last week. Highs are 1337, 2 weeks ago 1339, 1337. So it's not as strong, but if it chooses to, then we can see more new highs. But if it doesn't want to by the end of this week, then back down to 1300, even down to 1280, 1270 as a form of a correction mode. Okay, daily chart. Let's expand this for 1 second for now. A lot of gapping in the daily, pretty much right there. So the odds and probability it will fill in that gap 1315 is more than likely to happen. We have a hanging man right there too. Level of supply, low risk, high probability trading. And if it's going to be a trade of the week, this will be my trade of the week. The E-minis to short, basically, to short the S&P, head back to the downside. And how many points has an opportunity to from the last low? If now with the current high, then around the 1323, 1320 is a good target point. Also the 50%, which is halfway of that, is actually the 1337 is the high. Fibonacci 1316, 50% T1 or T2 between those two levels. Okay, that's it for the S&P. Let's go have a look at the volatility. Alright, looking at the volatility index, we have lower highs, lower lows, breaking through good strong demand level around this point, also breaking through the 15-point area. So what does it mean? As it probably can continue to go to the downside, meaning the market to go up to the upside is more than likely in the future. But if it doesn't, and we see some form of rebound as a form of demand area, back to 20, 22.50, be a form of retracement, hence the market will also retrace. Okay, looking at the weekly chart right here, big gap currently this morning. Nice, look at the bearish engulfing between the two bodies, really strong, making new lows. Harami currently testing part of the uncertainty. So odds and probability, part of the uncertainty could either go back to 750, even 20, but if not, then consolidation, correction at the moment before a new low will occur and will be formed. Alright, let's have a look at the daily chart. Okay, the daily shows a clear picture filling the gap. There's a little bit of a gap right there, but also fill that in. So that's not a problem. It's within the band once again of supply demand supply. It goes back to about the 18th, and we'll see the marketplace coming back and retracing a little bit more as well. Alright, this is it for the volatility index, and last but not the least, let's go through have a look at one. Alright, let's looking at the currency based on monthly is the euro dollar, breaking through a really good primary downtrend right here. Next target is about the 150 with the euro. If it breaks through 150, more than going to go to 160, goes to 160. So pretty much we are now in a new uptrend with the euro. It's no longer in a downtrend, has the trend has changed. So we'll create a new higher high, then new higher low to form as well later on, somewhere, sometime in the long run. But nevertheless, looking at now the trend, two forms right there. Didn't want to go in below that. Odds and probability can go beyond, as a new form of a high is more than likely to happen. Okay, weekly is totally different though. We have higher high, lower low. Part of beginning decision. We have a spinning top at the moment. Currently level of supply. So it all depends on what will happen this week. Tested below the 142, currently 146. So we're going to see is better indecision. But in terms of low risk, high probability, shorter term, then I believe to the downside is more than likely to happen. Okay, looking at daily chart. Nice retracement to the downside. Part of the trend. New higher high, higher low, creating new higher high. running out of steam at the moment. Lower low, lower high, and depending on what Bernanke is gonna say, and it's in terms of low risk high probability trading, odds and probabilities that it may continue to drop is more than likely. The risk is really, really small to make at least a minimum of 150 pips to the downside, which is also a good retracement level between the last swing low and the last swing high. Is right there. Extending that 1445 and even all the way down to 144. So about 160 pips to the downside. Alright, trade of the day, trade of the week, I mean, is a good one, or the euro dollar, to pointing to the downside, and the E-mini or the S&P 500, you're also pointing to the downside or to the downside. Not pointing to the downside because they're both level in the air supply. Alrighty, this is it for me. Thank you very, very much for listening. I hope you got something out of it. Other than that, happy trading for this week. Till next time, have a great week.